Hello again, this is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today about Takeover, the community takeover of the annual meeting at the Raymond, Wisconsin public school. Debbie Keither and crew, I think is fair to say, prepared a surprise at the annual meeting for the board there, and were managed to effectively stop the board from further discriminating, and certainly send a message to them to knock it off. Without getting too much into the details here of what's going on, the bottom line is that the school district is going after the principal of the school system for, let's just say, culture war reasons. There are enough people in the community that aren't putting up with that. The basic situation is it's 2 members of a 5-member board, and this is the president and another member there. Just a little note about what is the Raymond School District. Well, basically, it's a K-8 elementary school. So the entire school district composes one building that houses an elementary school, middle school, going all the way up to 8th grade. There are at least 3 other sister school districts that are also K-8, and then they all feed into a common high school. So the residents of are actually members of 2 different school districts simultaneously, and they're paying taxes to both the elementary school district and then the high school district. That used to be way more common across Wisconsin, but mostly speaking, it still exists now in eastern Wisconsin. Nicolay is a high school that you may have heard of in the Milwaukee area that's fairly famous. It also has multiple municipality school districts feeding into it. So that's kind of an interesting quirk there. So let's just say that the Raymond School District, again, principal is just trying to do his job. As far as I understand, there really isn't much more to it than that. So the annual meeting is a interesting phenomenon here in Wisconsin, and there's basically a statute, and it's 12010 in the Wisconsin statutes, and it says that there is to be an annual meeting for a certain kind of school district. So, for example, MPS doesn't have this, but we call them common or joint school districts have this, I think. At the annual meeting, the public, and not so much the board, are able to elect a chairperson of that meeting, and then they are able to go through a list of, I think, like 12 different things. And some of them are quite fascinating. So, for example, textbooks, school lunches, if they can create a recreational authority. So basically it has to do with approving money. So that's why the public apparently is directly involved. So again, there's 19 possible categories of issues up for discussion. And one of them is electing a chairperson or a clerk, and a second one is adjournment. But a third one is the salary of a school board member, which could be 0, for example. Reimbursement of school board members, which again could turn to 0 if the public wanted that at that time. Authorize them or prevent them from acquiring real estate. And mostly along those lines. Legal proceedings is a really important one. Direct and provide for the prosecution or defense of any action or proceeding in which the school district is interested. Well, that's pretty important there, because we'll see what. So, it just so happens that the principal has an ERD discrimination complaint against, or about to be filed against, the school district. So one of the things that they were able to do was to vote a motion passed that allowed them to prevent the school district from basically engaging in any defense on this discrimination lawsuit, which was a clear message to them to resolve it, get it done, and stop discriminating. So one of how that happens is it goes down to a bare majority of whoever brings the mostest people to the annual meeting. So we saw this a couple of years back when there was pushes to, especially on textbooks and more culture war stuff, removing, rainbow references, putting in rainbow references, getting, other, I would say, culture war related things. It's just so hard to define what culture war is, and I'm sure it's something different in your area, but that term certainly goes all the way back to the Nazis, the culture kampf here. So, I'm sure it may vary in your neighborhood. I doubt you're burning books there, but again, let's say rainbow, meaning gay, trans, other issues, may be really hot in your area. They may not be. And it may be more about, again, I hate to put a name on it because who really knows what. I get involved in these in all sorts of ways, but really it mostly comes in the employee is trying to do their job, and either the elected official or the public is coming in with a, let's say, an agenda, which again, perfectly fine. That's politics. The public officials have to negotiate politics. That's what they have to do. But the part of the issue then is to say, well, we want a rainbow, message. We want every teacher to have rainbow flags in there. Okay, then order every teacher to have rainbow flags in there. But the big issue is when you say, okay, we don't want Principal X because he's not rainbow friendly. And that really is where I would come in on that, because, that's discrimination. It doesn't matter if it's coming from the school board or the school, the politics, or a really loud parent, or wherever it's coming from. The fact is that you're not giving them you're discriminating against them without giving them the opportunity to perform the job. I mean, that's the bottom line for that. So that's how I get in. But we will see here and hear this Raymond School Board. I apologize for the video somewhat. It's obviously on an iPhone, I think, and you can hear a lot of the commentary, and you can see a lot of, the emotion of what's going on. This is not a large district, but the annual meeting really sort of forces this confrontation by, again, who can bring the most bodies in there. It's pretty old school, but that's what representative democracy at least used to be. And then based on that certain time and date, you come in, and whoever has the most, wins. So things could change for next year, but for that year, that's what the issue is. So I really encourage everybody, our devoted viewers here, to take a look at this video. I think it's well worth watching the entire thing, if not just to see the looks on the faces of the board members as it dawns on them that they are being held democratically accountable, because that's what this channel is all about. So stick with us. We'll keep you informed.